One officer had to dive out of the way. The other fired 3 shots. One of those shots went into the side of this house. There was a couple inside just feet away from this bullet hole. Behind me, there's actually one of the homes that you can see as a silhouette with the flames behind it. It's just started smoking black smoke in the last 5 minutes. There were 50,000 volts of energy surging through my body, and I was completely incapacitated. This room right here used to be a guest bedroom, but as you can see, there's not much left. This right here was a box spring mattress, but now it's just covered with ash and debris. Police say a teenager walked up to Santa and smashed a pie in his face and then ran off, leaving Santa with a face full of whipped cream. This is a neighborhood that is out of power. We just saw a Northwestern Energy truck pull up there. This is the case across much of Missoula and Ravalli County as well. Big pockets of power outages because if you take a look, as we were saying, this snow is very, very heavy. Just after 6 o'clock, a deafening blast shook this quiet Missoula neighborhood.
And that loud boom was then I turned and there's a big ball of fire.
Flames really high in the air, just gulping into the sky.
The blast continued one after another.
Huge kaboom went and the smoke headed towards ourselves. Big old huge pieces of ash with flames on them and debris.
Neighbors had no idea what was going on.
At first, I was thinking it was really loud thunder.
Yeah, I thought maybe an airplane or something like that landed somewhere and exploded.
It was like a bomb went off in your front yard.
But many came running to see what was going on and to try and help. That's when they saw their neighbor, Ted Kolwitz, emerge from the flames.
He was on fire, completely on fire. Everything was burning on him.
They ran to him and pulled him to safety.
And I yelled at him to go ahead and start rolling around on the ground to get the fire out. And I took my shirt off to go ahead and start beating the flames.
I said, "How are you doing, Tad?" And it didn't even sound like his voice.
He told me and my mom's boyfriend just to let him go. He's going to die. So just let me go. I'm going to die.
But they didn't. They took care of him and sat with him until help arrived. At least once a week, Missoula police respond to a suicide call. Their officers are specially trained to deal with people in distress, and most times they're successful, able to talk people to safety and take them for help. But as Saturday's suicide call illustrates, the outcome is not always as good. Every year in Montana, over 180 people commit suicide. Montana has one of the highest suicide rates in the country. Gary Popeil knows those statistics all too well. 6 years ago, his daughter Nicole committed suicide. 6 months after that, his other daughter Allie tried to drive off the Highlight Dam. She survived, but was never the same. Gary says here in Montana, his girls didn't get the help they needed.
If we would have had facilities here versus there, had the help here versus there, maybe my oldest daughter wouldn't have taken her life.
Missoula Police Captain Dick Lewis says his officers do everything they can, but they just don't have enough resources.
Most of these people that are in these situations are reaching out for some kind of help. We are obviously not trained as psychiatrists. We're not trained in that area.
Once they take someone to the hospital, it's out of their hands, and often the same people are back on the streets just a few hours later.
It's frustrating for an officer who's dealt with someone and they felt they have a mental illness or a mental health problem to only find out that they're back out the same afternoon, same night, and we're dealing with them again and again and again.
One reason is Montana has a critical shortage of psychiatrists. Just 55 across the state and 12 here in Missoula. Here at St. Patrick Hospital, only 3 are available to see patients and give them the emergency help they need. Compare that to the estimated 55,000 Montanans who are currently being treated for mental health issues, and the thousands more who can't afford or aren't getting the help they need. Underneath a soundtrack of buzzing helicopters, with the charred smell of destruction left lingering in the air, Thursday afternoon, 2 families returned to their once quiet neighborhood to find a smoldering war zone left standing in its place.
It's sort of surreal to sit here and think about. I mean, we've been running around these roads and trails and past these homes for a number of years, and you know, the hardest part is to see the way it looks up here now.
On Saturday, the Kerouacs and Shermans had an hour's notice. The Jocko Lakes fire was furiously pushing straight towards them, charring everything in its path. Both families grabbed what they could and left just in time.
You don't think about you know, what all you have, what all you need to take with. Had everybody known what this was going to be like, it would have been a moving truck in our driveway the day before.
Now, most of their worldly possessions are just a twisted mess of metal. This room right here used to be a guest bedroom, but as you can see, there's not much left. This right here was a box spring mattress, but now it's just covered with ash and debris. Sifting through the rubble is almost like playing a guessing game, trying to identify the remnants of chandeliers, speakers, and DVD players.
I'm digging through this stuff and I'm hoping to find it, but it doesn't really feel like it's my house.
Both families just hoping that somewhere deep beneath the ashes, there's something resilient enough to have survived the fire and bring a momentary glimmer of happiness. John Worley is the man behind the monsters, the guru of ghouls, and the king of creepy. His goal? To make you scream.
Draw their attention one way and then scare them another.
Every October, he works non-stop for hours to transform his quaint suburban home into a spooky graveyard full of ghosts, goblins, spiders, and worse.
I used to get in a lot of trouble when I was a kid over Halloween for just stuff like that, making stuffed dummies and throwing them in the road.
But now he's channeling that energy into a haunted house of his own. Almost everything you see, John made himself.
They sell this stuff for like $250 if you go online and look at Halloween stores. I just kind of look at it and then come out in the garage and go to work.
It may be a labor of love, but it still takes a lot of work.
If it don't look right, I'll go rewire it, and I mean, it's got to look just right. That's how you scare the people.
This all takes about a month to put together and costs around $1,200. But in the end, on Halloween night, the cost of a scare is priceless.
It's fun listening to them scream and run, and they come back and tell you, oh, that's great, that was a blast.